We've had some good times in this pool this year, but I'm sad to say I've got to fully take it down now. So let's go through that together. Originally I had emptied a lot of this water using the pump. Feel free to check out the previous video. So what I'm going to have to do is just dismantle the sides and let the water come out. It's not a lot. It's more than it looks, but it's not a lot. Before I dismantle the pool, I'm going to brush some of the debris towards the bottom half of the pool, so that when I let it out, then the dirt will come out as well. It's not going to be perfect, but it's better than nothing. I should have emptied the pool when I drained the pool, but it started raining. I honestly didn't want to get that wet. The first thing I need to do is remove all of these plugs or pegs. And if I remember putting it together, it was quite stiff. I can remove that easily. The issue is that peg doesn't close properly enough to allow it to free itself, which is going to make reusing this a lot harder if these pegs get broken. This is in complete contrast to what the Bestway one. The Bestway pegs were so easy to get out, it was brilliant. Okay, so something to push really hard. You know what? I've never hated something more. Oh, they are a pain in the backside to get out. Trying to squeeze those is nigh on impossible. You can squeeze at the top, but you need to squeeze it at the bottom, so those bits get past. I am only going to take out the left side of these, because if I'm putting it into the storage, I need to undo half of this. That is a pain. With the 10-foot pool, I have 20 of these in it, and I'm going to only remove 10 of them because they are a pain. If you have the option of using these ones or the Bestway ones, I would stick with the Bestway ones. Those I could remove without too much fuss. These, well, I had to use a pair of pliers to sort of push them up, because trying to pinch them and pull them at the same time is just painful. So I kind of pinched them, got a little way, and then used the flat part of this to then push them further, to push them fully through, and then I had to wiggle them to pull them out the last little bit. It's not great, and it's probably going to do damage to them, and they're not going to survive very long, but hopefully they last a couple of years. From what I see on the internet, these things can be quite expensive. Right, I'm just going to whiz around and do the rest of them. You need to make sure that hole is as straight as possible, otherwise you will have problems with this pulling part. And I kind of pull it and I twist it. In fact, it's easier if this is off. So it kind of goes sideways, which forces it to be pushed together a little bit, and then you wiggle it. It's not an exact science. There's a lot of force, a lot of wiggling. These are a pain. For the last 4 or 5 of these, once I'd pushed them up with the pliers, I was just able to pull them straight out. I don't know if there was anything different with them, or if I was just really frustrated with them. But straight up, I think a lot of it's because you can grab onto it, whereas when they're fully sunk in, there's just a tiny bit to grab onto. Your mileage may vary. So, right, the next bit. What we need to do is release one of these, which hopefully will be easier than the other bits. Just remember, these are poles, so these can actually just come out. They should be able to. before I put these away, I'm going to give these a little bit of a wash. Now that we've got a couple of these verticals missing, it should be a lot easier to take one of these out. Okay, they come out a lot easier than the Bestway's one do. Now that we've removed a few of these upright posts, we should be able to release some of the water. There we go, some of the water going now. Unfortunately, water gets trapped underneath the cover, which pushes it up. So you need to push down to allow the water out. The craziest thing about all this is I feel like I'm going to get sunburn, and it's middle of autumn. It's normally really awful weather and certainly not hot sunshine. Hopefully I get this done soon before I burn. Once you've released a lot of this water, you can go to the other end and then sort of pull up the liner, but it's not worth doing that until a lot of the water's gone, because it's still going to be quite heavy. And until this water starts leaking out or pouring out, it's got nowhere to go. It's getting there. Oh, it's not where I want it to go. Yeah, flip-flops is not necessarily the best shoes for this. This is what happens when your base doesn't allow you to drain away the water. You get algae growing on everything, which is why I had problems with the posts sort of creating little pockets of water. So the liner is down and it's mostly empty of water now. The question is, what do I clean? What do I put away? What do I throw away? I'm hoping I can reuse it all. We'll see. I usually try and clean it as best I can and then put it away, and it usually ends up getting covered in algae anyway, because there's always a little bit of moisture on it, and I end up having to clean it in the next year anyway. So I'll leave it like that for a little while to sort of try and dry out best it can. Well, these mats survived a lot better than I thought they would. So that's it for another year. I've put the pool away, it's come down, I can't really do anything else. The only thing I can do is potentially stock up on bits and pieces for next year. I'm thinking about a built-in skimmer on the side. At the moment they're only 30 quid, so I might be tempted with that. I'll see you next year.